Hello and welcome to Warblog. Today I'm going to be playing Byumba. On a different laptop, so my sound should be at least audible. I'm hoping that it's audible. I hope you can hear what I'm saying. So anyway, it's quite interesting actually, because I've been I keep forgetting everything about everything. This is one of the things that I really like about Warblog, is that I sort of think, well, hang on, I don't really know anything about the Rwandan Civil War. But I did a game a while back, this one, the Rwandan Civil War. No, this one here, Rwandan Civil War. You can see it's quite old because the scrub is a different colour. It's now this colour. If you look at it, you can sort of see Rwanda in whole, the whole thing. And you can see here the sort of objectives that they had. Now, to be quite honest, I can't remember what I was thinking when I wrote this. It says this represents the first 30 days of the Rwandan Civil War. And these are objectives. Now, these are objectives here. Under there is Gatuma, and this is Byumba. Now, what we had originally was them taking Gatuma, and the thing is, I think they got pushed back from a lot of this, because in the early part of the war, the government were quite strong, as we'll sort of get onto. But when you look at this from a whole, it looks quite different. So they basically held on to 5% of the territory by 1993, about this much. But if we now go back and say, look at, well, let's start off with this one, Gatuma. And essentially there's Gatuma, so they basically come down here, and this is in 91, and they take it and keep it, but apparently they sort of lose it again, and in 93 they sort of come down here, they take Gatuma, and they march down here to Byumba. Now that looks like quite a long way, coming across the border all the way down here. So what we got here is sort of Gatuma up close in 91 there. So presumably Byumba's down here somewhere. And then you've got Byumba here, where they come through Gatuma down to Byumba. And then they sort of, they say, oh, well, they got within 30 kilometers of Kalabi or whatever it is. Whatever's under there, Kabali, I think it is. But you can sort of see there that there's Gatuma, there's Byumba, and they're sort of getting a bit close. But the thing is, they sort of took a lot of this stuff before and lost it, or I don't know. I mean, but basically, once you start to sort of build up the maps, you can sort of say, well, hang on, what's sort of happening here? Well, I mean, this does say the first 30 days, so I assume that that basically there's some truth in there, because I wouldn't have made it up. But the thing is, I'm sort of, it's been a while since I did this one, as you can see, and when I sort of did this one, I thought, hang on, some of these, I've heard of some of these places before, and how come they'd be taking this if they'd already taken that? Well, if you actually look at the Wikipedia on this, you can sort of see where they had their territory. So, well, there's Byumba, and there's Kigali. That's what it's called, Kigali. So, to be quite honest, I don't know what's happening really. I don't know what's happening there. Come on. This is what we're on, the peace process. So the RPF advanced in February. We took Ruhengeri on the first day of fighting. Ruhengeri. That's what we're talking about here. I think I might be getting some of my things mixed up a bit. There's Ruhengeri there. There. So if we look for Ruhengeri in the bigger picture, there, it's there, look. So they've taken that, so in theory they should sort of control that and then move down to Byumba. So basically my map's all wrong. Oh well, not to worry about that. I mean, you know, it doesn't matter if it's all wrong. I just have to correct it a little bit. But basically, that's interesting really. What I'm going to do is just assume that they had that and then move them down here a bit. Because basically the whole point of this stage of the war was the Rwandan government had increased the size of their army from 10,000 to 30,000, but they were untrained and they were badly paid because they weren't being paid, and so they were highly demoralised. The war had been going on for a long time, so they were demoralised. They weren't being paid, they weren't trained, and at this stage, the whoever these guys are, the Rwandan Patriotic Front, they just sort of, you know, marched forward almost unopposed, as opposed to the first 2 years where they had, you know, fairly significant resistance. And, you know, it sort of gave an impression that they marched unopposed all the way down to Byumba. The RPF advance continued unchecked through February, its forces driving steadily south and gaining territory without opposition. They took Ruhengeri on the first day of the fighting and later the city of Byumba. So, if we look at the map, we can sort of so if they took that and that, they must have been moving sort of from a line like that south. So we can presume they'd already had that and then moved south a little to 30 kilometers of Kigali. So that's pretty much what that's all about. So we'll adjust things. But I'm going to do I'm going to sort of maybe adjust things and maybe come back to this. I'll just upload this. Reason being mainly because I have actually just got a secondary laptop, and I'm hoping and praying that the audio will be a little better. But to be quite honest, I don't think it is much. Quite, I don't know. Now I'm getting sensitive to audio. It seems that nothing's really good enough. I don't want to get a sound studio, but it just strikes me as being, it was actually quite good before. You know, you could hear the mouse click, it was quite silent, you can hear things, and now all of a sudden it's just this huge noise, and you can't just plug the microphone into the sockets because there's only one socket and it doesn't know which one's recording, and it's just so bizarre. Okay, so we'll see how this works out.